Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome to your first video here in the SPX room. As you guys all know, I really appreciate you and I want to say thank you for your support. In saying that, what exactly can you expect going forward? Again, this is an alerts only room, but I will be spending a lot of time here with you guys. In saying that, one thing that I wanted to do was go ahead and give you a video where we could capture what we did this past week. Okay. And then I want to talk a little around what I'm expecting going into this week. Now, I just sent out an alert, and you can see that in the alert section. That is my broad market analysis. Now, most of you probably see this if you're already a Simpler member, then you know that I love to do this every single week. So you can find this stuff on my YouTube page as well, and that's where it's going to lead you. Once you get there, make sure you subscribe as well to my YouTube page so that you guys can see any other sort of videos that you might want to learn about. Up and coming this week, we have a couple things going on, right? We have to be aware of any catalysts that are in the market. I talk about that in my broad market analysis. So any kind of economic or macroeconomic events, those are just catalysts that push price into supply and demand. From an SPX standpoint, I love to use the ES futures chart. I rarely use an SPX chart. Sometimes, you may see an SPX chart, but you guys know most of my executions either come off of a premium chart or just this chart itself. And what we're looking at is the ESZ24 contract. And I want to go over this really fast, and then we'll go over the alerts that were pushed out in the room. And then as a reminder, on the 14th of this week, which is one of my favorite days, and that's Friday Eve, Thursday on the 14th, we'll be meeting. Now, I am waiting to get that time. I want to say that I requested it be 7 o'clock Central my time, which would be obviously 8 o'clock on the East Coast, and then 5 o'clock in the afternoon and on the West Coast. So that's what I'm thinking it is. It could be a little bit earlier. I will update everyone tomorrow. So again, 14th, if you want to come up for a meet and greet, I'm also going to basically do like a breakout session with SPX and talk more around my process of the premium chart and so forth. Okay. But let's go ahead and get started. This is what I'm looking at for this week. So this is a daily that we're looking at, and we can see that I identified a demand zone here. These demand zones are where I am trying to align myself with bigger money, and I would expect buyers to show up in here. Now, there's a couple things that happened before price were to get to this demand zone. We have the 9 EMA cloud. We have some trendy edges here. And listen, if you're not a member of Trendy Room and you never heard me speak, none of this stuff really means a whole lot to you, but I still want to share it. These are areas where I would expect price to be supported, and this is where I'd really like to buy. So when I say that things are supported, I'm just looking for what we call a relief bounce. Price may go up 10, 20, 30 handles from one of these support levels, but this is where I typically will find a much bigger move. So when I'm thinking about swinging an SPX position, I want to see price come down into demand zones. And there's another demand zone right in here, okay? And you guys can see that's right around my next trigger long on the ES futures, okay? Again, I can use the SPX to trade, right? And I can use the ES futures chart for me to trade with my SPX. Okay. So again, these areas here are my favorite areas to get long. And this area here where we have some confluence with the 9 EMA and my trendy edges is where I wouldn't mind taking a buy the dip type scenario and more of a intraday perspective type trade. This is more swing type. Okay. Now listen, this resistance level, it's pretty close to current price. It's around 6,037. If we can get up and over that, that looks great. Last week we put on a couple trades. I'm going to pull this down really quickly. You guys can see here. I'll open this up and we'll just kind of go over these real fast. All right. So when we came in, you guys, this was not a trade that was alerted to you. We just wanted to keep this on here so you could kind of understand what those positions look like when they come out. And this was just a straight up butterfly that was 20 wide. So the wider you go on butterflies, the more profit you can capture but it also costs a little bit more to get into. But I like these type of trades because you open yourself up to less risk, but you also get a really fat reward if you're right. Okay. Now you'll notice that my trims so far in our closes are around 48%, 50%, and so forth. All right. So we come in here. Then we start doing some alerts. We got a 75 by 6,000 by 6,025. These are 25 wide. So you're paying a little bit more money for them once again, but we also can get a really nice reward. I ended up selling this trade right here for 33% at 420. So not bad for $100 a contract. This was a pretty straightforward and easy trade. Probably my feedback on this trade is that, obviously this is going to be something we all deal with as traders is yes, I could have held longer and obviously taken more profits. I believe many traders held this and did really, really well. All right, but that's something we're all going to get better at as we continue to trade. Hopefully, right? That's what I want you to get good at. So we took the easy $105 a contract. That really didn't take us that long to capture that. This trade right here, obviously, so I'm working with my developer. We're having a couple hiccups on the information that was sent out, and immediately what I did, I noticed, right? I'm like, wait a minute, there's some information missing here. So I immediately came out and said, hey guys, it's an SPX 6040 call at $1.30 that expires tomorrow. So I try to hurry up and give you that alert, and it was just a couple seconds later, I believe. This is 1041, 1043, and price had not really moved on us at all. Matter of fact, by the time I had to push this out, it was a little bit cheaper. All right, updates. The puts are starting to set up. I was talking about the premium charts that I share every single morning. And if you wanted to take a look at the put side, you could have done that at that moment. I did not take a put position. Okay. Now we started testing. We wanted to make sure that the information was going to look pretty good when it came back out. So this is the same alert. And we let everybody know, please ignore the next alert as we are testing. This is the same thing up here. This is what it should have looked like. Okay. All right. So over here, again, you guys can see here, this is in this position right here. It says this is a close. I'm going to put something else on. I didn't like the way that this was acting, although this trade was actually up the next day. It doesn't matter though. I closed it for a break even. I just didn't like the way it felt. I felt like I was too far out of the money. I felt a little exuberant, and so I closed it, which was, I thought, the right call. And then I came back and I came into this trade here. We took this trade instead, and this was a 59.90, 6,010, and a 6,030 butterfly at $3. And then right here, let me just make sure, on Friday when we opened up that morning, we were up $100 a contract, and I let you guys know if you want to take that $100 a contract and at least trim, you can. Totally up to you. Again, guys, I'm not a financial advisor, but I am wanting to make traders in here aware, because you got to understand, not everybody's sitting in a chat room. They don't know exactly what's going on. They might be in a business meeting. They might be in a call. They might be, they're just busy. So I like to send stuff out like this just so people are aware, like, oh, wow, I was just trying to get $100 a contract. I didn't realize that. Let me go ahead and open up my phone or get back to my desk, something like that. So this is more of a, hey, I'm going to alert you and just kind of tell you some things every once in a while. Now over here, we ended up taking about 40% or $115 a contract. You guys could see this worked out. And again, my feedback on this particular trade is that if you would have held, you would have made more money. A couple of these, like, I had a set target that I wanted to get out, but then I just started feeling a little uncomfortable in some of the trades, and so I decided to take them off a little bit sooner. This down here, keep on moving on. I got on the mic. Hopefully you guys were able to catch me that day. I was teaching a little bit and just kind of going over some stuff. This trade right here, anytime, if you don't know anything about iron condors are basically when we're using different strikes, whereas an iron fly, even though this does not say an iron fly, this is an iron fly technique. So I'm taking the 6,030 and I'm selling those on both sides. So basically it's like a butterfly, and I can show you guys that a little bit later, but on both sides, okay? And what I was looking for was, this was a bullish bet saying that the market was going to push up towards my targets on Friday. And that's exactly what it did. It didn't take very long for us to make money on that trade. So I went ahead and came out and said, hey, listen, these are already up about $300 a contract if you want to go ahead and trim. For me, I gave it a little bit more longer. I went out to lunch. I was hanging out with my family. Noticed over here that, you know, again, we're still up about 300 bucks. So I went ahead and took the easy money. It doesn't look impressive from a percentage standpoint, but iron flies are really interesting. With an iron fly, what I'm trying to do is that probability suggests that on iron flies that, you know, you're talking a lot of intrinsic value. And because of that, the profit taken that you want to take, you don't want to hold, because it's almost like impossible to get the full credit a lot of times, unless this thing were to completely go sideways at 6,030 all the way into expiration, which was going to be tomorrow. Okay, so because of that, I'm actually looking to take profits quicker. In this case, you know, from a perspective of 11%, it doesn't sound amazing, but remember, we were going to potentially get, all right, and even this is kind of like rose-colored glasses. Again, I don't think you're ever going to get the full, especially on a 1 DTE type trade. Like this is kind of like a facade, right? I'm not looking at taking 24 bucks, but man, that's a lot of credit that I can still take some money from. And you guys could see it worked out very well, giving us about $300 a contract there. Okay. Now, that's all we did last week, but pretty impressive, because really just from those trades themselves, probably should have paid for your annual subscription. So now, you know, if that's your case, which I know many of you already paid for it just by taking some of these trade ideas that I presented to you. If that's the case, guess what? You get to hang out with me for another year for free. You're going to learn some stuff along the way as well. And yeah, so Thursday night, that is, again, it's more of a meet and greet. This is not an education room. This is, even though you're going to get some from me, I don't want you to get confused on that. I'm not going to promise you things, but the 14th will be fun because it's a breakout session. I'll go over the type of things that I'm doing, but also just a little bit about me and so forth. If you ever want more and more education, go to my YouTube channel. Right, I got a lot of stuff on there that's free. Check that out. And if you ever get, you know, you get to the point where you're like, well, I want to check out the Trendy Room, which I know some of you have already done, and many of you are already in there. You can always come over there. I trade with Melissa. Everybody knows Melissa. She does very, very well. She's on leave this coming week, but she's a great trader. She teaches the Trendy Methodology, and it's education based. And I'm on the mic most of the day. She has Q&A where she's on like an hour a day. She also talks through the morning with me as well. And again, that's not a ploy to try to get you there. But if you're interested in more education, I would say go to YouTube, to my channel. You can ask me questions out on X. So follow me out on Twitter. So if you don't have an account, make one. You know, I keep hearing people say things like, I don't have an X account. Many of you do, but some people are just like, hey, I don't have an X account. Make one. You know, it's 2024. It's time you get a X account. Just don't follow a bunch of noise. You know, that's what I would tell you. Like, just don't follow noise, right? Get out there, follow me, follow Simpler Trading, follow Melissa, you know, like-minded traders that are trading supply and demand and so forth. Yeah, and that'll really help you out. Next thing I want to go over just really quick during this video is not only our trades and the chart that I just showed you on the ES futures, but I'm also going to put this video right in here. Okay, so I'll put a chart of the ES futures. I'll put some notes. I'm going to put this video. And so remember, when you wake up in the morning, go to your off topic. This is where I'm going to put the chart of the intraday setup. Okay, and then some other notes about what I'm expecting and so forth. That's going to be in here. Okay, so again, the chart for the intraday setups is right here. This over here, the morning trend, it's going to look just like it is right here. You know, except tomorrow will be like Happy Monday, Happy Veterans Day. This is what we got going on. This is what my expectations. And so sorry, just want to clear that up. So that type of stuff is going to be here. And then on the off topic, your setup for the intraday SPX, whether it be a 0 DTE or like a 1 DTE or something like that, will be right in here. With the calls and the puts, and then I give the iron condor idea or the iron fly idea or a butterfly, all that type of stuff. And then if I take a setup, you're going to see that alert pop right up in here right away. Okay, so really straightforward. The next thing that I want to talk about is going to be I already went over that, interactive broker. So as a disclaimer, you do not have to have interactive broker. If you decide to use my referral, it's cool, right? You can use my referral if you want to. I just opened this account just probably about a month ago. You know, and I increased that account very quickly. It was fun, and then I gave some money back. I'm still up or whatever. But what I love about it is that I can trade after hours and before the market opens. All I wanted to learn on interactive brokers is how to execute a trade for SPX. I don't want it for anything else. So some traders will say, man, it seems like a really slow and like old type platform. You actually get really good feels there, but most importantly, I don't care what else interactive brokers does. I am primarily trading on Thinkorswim. I only want to use these guys if I get into a jam or I see a great opportunity that persists or happens right before the market opens, or like I said, after the market closes. So that's why I personally put 10 grand into this account. All right. Over here, the weekly neutral strategy, I'm about to throw that out. We actually didn't even talk about this in the webinar. Lots of people love this. This gives you the SPY and the QQQ setup for this week. You can go to my YouTube channel to learn about the neutral strategy, but I'm going to play some charts in here, and I'm also going to put the link in there where you guys can watch the video. Okay. And again, welcome. This is what API alerts are all about. I talk about why transparency in trading matters and why I use the type of alerts that I use. If you have any questions, guys, you know, please reach out to me. I hope you're enjoying it so far. And if, you know, if that's it, that's all we really need to discuss. Pretty straightforward week last week. And then I'll give you some more information going forward. Have a blessed day. See you soon.